on a very special episode of Riverdale. We go back to the 90s. Oh, we could have 90s up the whole intro. That would have been interesting too. Like Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, we should have done a Saved by the Bell.
Teacher Papa test. No, oh, look at that! Oh my God!
Thankfully, Riverdale did that for us.
I did.
Yeah.
When the teacher drinks a chalice, you know it's going to.
Scribble GR.
Yeah.
Written
over it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, hello and welcome to Gingerdale here on That Hashtag Show. I am a gentleman, so I'm going to introduce the ladies first. My immediate left, nothing gets hotter than the sauna. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tatiana. And to my immediate left after that, next immediate left.
The extended left.
Yeah, exactly. Don't believe everything you see. It is the one and only beautiful Kelly.
Aw, thanks. Yeah,
You're a poet.
Right.
It's been a while.
Thank you.
It's been a while for me.
Oh my God, I did pretty well. And I'm Daniel.
Did you plan those, or did you think those?
I was thinking those way ahead of time.
Oh, wow.
I was say.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, that sounds good enough. That sounds good enough. Well, hello and welcome to Gingerdale. I know you guys see someone, a very familiar face to that hashtag.
Do you guys remember who I am?
Yes, welcome back. Look, people are going crazy right now. Toku's jealous right now. He sees you and he's like, Kelly.
My own phone autocorrects my name to Jelly.
Really?
Oh, see,
Yeah.
And that's why.
What's going on with that?
Toku is jelly. It says Kelly, Toku is jelly. I love it. It's just evil. I don't know why it doesn't learn by now.
Or your phone is actually jelly.
It is
Of
Jelly.
you. Of your,
Jelly.
yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
before we really break down the episode, just wanted to go ahead and cover some news that's happening. One of the biggest things that came out this week actually came out about roughly, early last night, or late last night. Early this morning.
It came out sometime in the last 24
exactly.
hours.
Well, Kelly Ripa went ahead online on Instagram and actually posted her on set getting ready to
That
be
caption.
the mistress.
23 years of auditioning for a role I was born to play.
Come on.
All right.
How accurate is that? And oh my God, I love everything about her.
She looks so good.
I love
She
her.
does look really
Okay,
good.
they are like the best looking couple in Hollywood.
She's so tiny in that.
Seriously.
She does look tiny in that chair. That chair looks too big for her.
Yes.
Yeah. And that book looks too big for her, for that matter.
Hint? Give us a hint.
Yeah,
Well,
right?
I
hint,
wonder.
Kelly Ripa.
I mean, we know that she's the mistress, but we're trying to find out what else is going on. And there are always hints in everything they release, so we're still trying to figure out. See that big book, and we're going to try to figure it out. We'll zoom and enhance, and we'll figure out exactly what's going on
It
there.
looks a little serpentine.
larger
You know, we
around
did
her.
have those serpents the other
Oh
episode.
yeah, that's right.
So.
See, I mean, I don't know, but I know I'm excited for it because it's just a family affair all over, especially
Yes,
on this
because this is a
episode.
family show. A
Yeah,
wonderful
exactly.
family show.
Oh, there he is.
There's
What
the
is that?
zoom. It's like
What
an
is that?
iguana with a cape, an octopus leg. I don't know.
Possibly close. It looks like an octopus
think
thing
it's
or something,
nothing.
but
You think it's
serpent.
nothing.
I don't know. It's a
I'm going to say
serpent.
it, yeah,
No,
serpentine
I
of
don't
some
know. I
kind.
don't know.
Oh, thanks.
Because I mean, remember last time when we
Nice,
did see the
nice.
Gargoyle King and sketches of the Gargoyle King, he had a serpent in his hand.
do
So
like
it's always
those
something I was trying to remember.
It's got. Oh.
Yeah, see,
There
yeah.
you go. It's just like, so there are different things going on. I don't know. There's a lot of imagery, so we're trying to figure out exactly
Second
what's
edition.
happening there.
Yeah, it is.
See,
See,
it
it
is
is.
second
It's
edition.
just like D&D. It is mass
Okay,
produced. Yeah.
we had a whole discussion before the episode started, and we asked immediately, that's one of the first questions. So, was this game something that was just released like Milton Bradley kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Or was it something that was like created and left there by Satan himself? Who knows, right?
By the Dark Lord.
By the Dark Lord, yes. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
But so that's the question we didn't know, but that's the second edition.
Yes. So
clearly
it's definitely,
something that was printed
And clearly something has changed.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
As the kids today
man.
it's like
are not playing the same game as
Kids
the
today.
kids of
iPod.
yesterday.
Kids
today
today.
is so weird.
I mean,
Yeah.
man. Well, then, all right, let's focus on that. Let's start by chat me up on. No, that's what Joe says. Everybody that watches the show usually Joe says that all the time. Chat me up.
I love how much
But
it's like D&D.
Yeah.
It is. So, all right.
Oh, and you
let's
can even
talk
see the
about
It is like
it.
evil D&D.
I love it, and it's
Yeah.
like it's a great pen and paper game also that they kind of introduce you to as well.
Oh, Jesus
Now
Christ.
there goes the old book, and when they did get the box, it did look like there was a little barcode on it and everything like that. So we're like, someone purchased it at some point, and with that, the thing is when you're looking at the game, everything about it just seems very well. It's nefarious. I mean,
Nefarious.
without any kind of question. But the thing is, how much of this game was like created for this evil purpose versus.
I mean, I think the way they were playing it, I thought the way they were playing it in detention was kind of innocent. You know, like they were just like.
They were having a good time.
Yeah, they were just having a good time, rolling some dice. Like, at worst, they went to go find a random fake gem in a,
Yeah, and they found it.
How did she get into the...
Right?
I don't know, but you know what? She is well-to-do.
She is, yes.
So maybe she
has her ways.
She told the janitor, "Hey, open this up. I gotta put something in there."
But at some point, she stopped setting things up.
Yeah.
And she thinks it's being set up by the other team.
Yeah.
Well, she did say she hit the gem.
Yeah, that one she did.
That she did.
Like, so at that point, that's her handling it. And so when she's in charge, it seems very innocent. Then they start cosplaying, which is still fine.
Love
That
it.
was so great.
Love it. Made
Yeah.
me
That
wanna
was so great.
go
And
play
guys, if you didn't know, the person who plays the young Mr. Lodge actually is his real son. That's
Right.
Martin Suelos' son, guys.
That's
So
why
that's
you see that Hiram gets more brown as he gets
As
older.
he gets older. That's
'Cause
right. That's right. He gets out of the
was
sun
half
more.
white
you
when
know?
he was
Exactly. He was half white as a
and
child.
Then he changed, and then boom, immediately he's no longer half white. So that's
Exactly.
perfect. I mean, that's exactly it for me. But so many things about the game as far as it evolved as time went on.
Yeah.
So it becomes now this whole thing where you have to drink from the chalice. They have a whole kind of rhyme scheme that goes along with it
Yeah.
when you drink and all these other things. And once again, everything gets weird and everything hits the fan when it comes to anything inside of Riverdale.
Right.
So
They can't just have nice things.
my question is immediately, is this supernatural? Is it like cult psychology?
Right.
Or what? That would make everyone get so enthralled with this game. I wonder, because if it's supernatural, and if it is, does that mean this is our connection to Sabrina?
Right. I mean,
Because it's a great show.
we
if you
watched
guys haven't seen it.
we watched Sabrina, and
Binged it the first day, thanks.
yes,
Yeah, right,
and
exactly.
it was demonic.
Oh, yes.
It was so like if there is like a satanic ritual going on in Riverdale that led to this, I would not be
I
surprised.
wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
And it would be a great thing to actually see that as the moment.
Right.
That as something big and special. I would love it. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm looking forward to that kind of moment where we can see this is our connection.
Yeah.
But something tells me the Gargoyle King
Is gonna be someone.
is someone
Yeah.
that we actually know.
Yeah.
And my bet right now, when it comes to the Gargoyle King, is possibly the Boy Scout's father.
The Boy Scouts
Dal-
father.
Dalton's
Right.
father? Is it
Like,
Dalton? It's Dalton, right?
actually, no.
Dilton and
Dilton.
Dilton and Dilton.
Daryl. His name is Daryl.
Well, either
Well-
that, but actually, no. He said he didn't set it up. So,
Well, he
actually,
said he
I'm
didn't
going to
set
go
it
back to it. I'm going to say my original theory, which is I think it's Ever Never. But
Ever
we
Never.
didn't get to see Ever
Right,
Never in
but
this.
I guess like if you were to freeze frame the different scenes, maybe we would find a character that
That kind of matches up.
yeah.
Ooh,
Because I don't know, because we haven't seen Ever Never yet, and we were introduced slightly a little bit to another generation of parents.
Oh, yeah, we
we
were.
heard
That's
about
true.
Archie's dad. We got to see FP's dad.
Oh, yeah, we did.
So I mean, there's a possibility that that leads us to the other question, right? Like
well, that's it.
the
It's just, I
cups,
wonder.
the cups that we assume were poisoned because the new cups are poisoned.
Yeah.
For God knows what reason, the principal
Vice
drank.
principal. Oh, the principal.
Yeah,
Principal. Mr.
drank
Feather.
from that cup. So,
Yeah.
like, why would Featherhead, or whatever his name was...
Yeah, Featherhead.
Yeah, why would he drink from creepy-looking cups in the school bathroom
Don't get
unless
it.
he was part of the game?
Yeah, and that's it. It's like, so were adults playing as well? Was he playing by himself? Was he just a rogue player? Did he set it up? And then since no one did it, he sacrificed
He's just
himself?
like, I have to do
Like,
it.
I'm so
I don't
thirsty
know.
right
Like,
now.
I'm so unpopular. My game was so unpopular.
Thank God there's this juice in the women's restroom.
Yeah, it's in the women's restroom. Why is he even there?
He goes into the school and he's looking
Yeah.
around like
I
clearly someone
don't
was here.
think that he went into the women's restroom. I have a feeling that maybe he might have been forced. I'm not
Ooh.
sure.
Eyes Wallow Cum
Oh.
says, did you guys notice FP's Jughead crown? And yes, we absolutely did. And
Loved it.
we loved it.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's
Yeah.
a name. That's a name.
Now,
Yeah.
something I do want to add.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
I
we
do want
will.
to add to
We
your
will.
initial
I
theory.
would have left it alone,
No,
but
good-
now you
good-
brought
good-
it up.
good well, I'm sorry.
Something I do want to add to your initial theory about the possibility that it could be Dilton or one of that group was that the game didn't really become evil until that half joined them.
in.
Yeah.
True. But then again, whoever was or is the Gargoyle King was probably waiting for it to get that
bigger,
level.
right.
More victims.
More, yes,
Yeah, exactly.
More
victims.
people, yes.
Yeah.
Now
So,
everyone will die.
They obviously, the members of that group suspect each other. They all suspect each other. They all think it was one of them.
Yes.
So most likely it was someone outside.
Exactly. So that's what I'm thinking. Evernever, but we didn't even get introduced to Evernever even here, and that
was
question.
surprising.
So now it goes to, like I said, if it's supernatural, that would be great because any kind of tie-in to Sabrina would be good. This could be a type of sacrifice that the mortals didn't get correctly, and that could be the whole thing, and it's just introduced into the game. Or we can go into the idea that maybe it's cult psych.
Right.
You know, and if so, because
Like
we did see a
groupthink.
lot of groupthink in this. Like, it was just simple. One person would say something, they all run to become the slippery slope. And then from there, they just move on and further. So I wonder about it, but I don't know if that could be the case also.
I want to discuss a separate theory
Ooh.
because this is all depending on whether or not Alice's story is true.
Right. Is
So
she a reliable
let's
narrator?
Let's get that theory out of the way.
Okay, all right.
So first, let's establish that we're assuming that she's telling the truth.
Yes.
You're thinking that it's Dilton's group of players, or
Actually, I think now that I keep thinking about the Evernever, I want to throw that option out.
you want to throw that?
But if it is, let's play with
Okay,
it. Let's
yeah.
say if it is Dilton's group that did it or set it up and just lies about it. The thing is, we have to really consider the fact that there's a future sheriff involved.
Yeah.
And also young Mark Consuelos.
Well, that's their darker side.
And that is...
Well,
and they
Hiram, all
are.
of Harlem's sides
Yeah.
are dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for the half-white side of him that disappeared after this incident because
Then he went to.
he got all dark. No, but
Good one.
So
thank you.
I believe it's Alice. I believe not necessarily Alice is doing it, but I believe she's not telling us.
Well,
I don't think
yeah.
that's what happened.
That takes it back to the Evernever too, because from one day to the next, she wasn't going to tell her,
Yeah.
and now suddenly she's telling her daughter while doing her affirmations for the farm.
Well,
right?
I'm confused because wouldn't that have had to have meant that she knew who Evernever was as a child, but I thought it was her other daughter that introduced her to Evernever in the farm.
My theory is now debunked.
So that's
No.
why
She doesn't have to have known it back then. But if she
Now
knows
she
now,
knows it's
right?
him.
Or if he's manipulating it without even telling her that he was the one, right? Like if there's information that she knows that she could have told Betty, and he manipulates her to not tell that information, and she doesn't even know. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
Well, in a past episode, we did hear Alice tell her daughter that she no longer trusts her, or she doesn't trust her to talk to her about these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why, while all of a sudden, she's telling her, like, yeah, we did drugs and played this game and someone died. Like, so
Yes, exactly.
I do think something's fishy around here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I think that we don't know the full story, but based on this story that we are seeing, let's say that she is telling the truth. I'm kind of suspecting Sierra.
Suspecting Sarah.
Ooh.
Now, why are you suspecting Sarah?
Yeah.
Now, I don't have a lot of evidence for it.
Okay.
Because she wasn't shown that often, which is already suspicious.
Yes.
Oh,
They're
boy,
gonna save
that's
those
such an
scenes
issue.
for later.
That's such a- oh, my gosh, we didn't even go over truant
Yeah.
but we will. We will because of this. Go ahead.
So, earlier in the episode, we did get a glimpse of her writing on the girl's bathroom mirror in lipstick. Then, when Alice supposedly sees it later, there's a lot of red lipstick written on the door. Also, she is the first one to mention that they should destroy the game. She said
Right.
it. I made a point to check that out the second time I watched
Oh.
it. She's the first one to be like, let's destroy it. And then we also don't see her initials carved into the window. Maybe that's just coincidence.
I mean, they're there,
Maybe
they
they
just don't pan to it. Because
Maybe.
it's like they don't care.
It's
But
possible.
also suspicious.
Or she was missing from the story
Yeah.
at some
Yeah.
point, and Alice isn't telling us the truth. So I do think that it could be her, but yeah, I know a lot of my evidence doesn't really explain
It's just
everything.
a circumstantial evidence.
Well, that is a good theory, but just to go over it, my thing was like, remember she does become a future lawyer. So the thing is, immediately it's like deny culpability. So what are you gonna do when you gotta make sure you hide? Let's burn it. That's always the answer when there's
also
some
wearing
killer or murderer. Let's
Evil
burn
eye.
it.
Isn't
Oh, it kind of looks like it. I mean,
Isn't that
the evil eye in the hand? Yeah.
I know that that's
my
supposed to
gosh.
be good, but couldn't it be
To ward off
used
evil.
as something like?
I guess it could be. It could be.
Wiccan. I don't know. Maybe not.
Ooh.
I know that it's not necessarily Wiccan,
Yeah.
but I'm just wondering if maybe that's what they tried to throw it in there for.
Oh my goodness.
Who knows?
Interesting.
Who knows?
Wow.
Is it a religious thing?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's religious, but I know that like
It's supposed to ward off evil. That's
yes,
what I
it
know.
is for warding off evil. And I know that a lot of like especially I know in Turkish culture that they use it. I'm sure in other,
Is it in
Arab,
Turkish culture used as a religious item?
not religious,
Okay,
but
so it's just to ward off
cultural,
evil,
yeah.
which could have something to do with this Gargoyle King.
yeah.
Sierra
So maybe she
did.
maybe she's already protecting herself from the Gargoyle King. Yeah, she's got something going on. Or if she didn't do it, again, she had a hand in setting it up.
So here's another question. Since we did have the whole Alice thing, my question, and this is one that's more of a personal one that you guys get to answer.
Uh-oh.
Would you, as an adult, want your kid to know everything from your past?
Yeah, right. How are you going to teach them to do
'cause
things if you?
this is exactly what's happening in this
Yeah.
episode. I'm telling my daughter everything. Here it goes, or at least we think she is.
She knows
And the
her
thing is-
daughter's going to investigate this. That's what she does every
Yeah.
time.
Okay, so then, in you, viewer in Alice's boots,
I
you
think
would
in
just-
this position, in this specific case, I would because it's information she needs to know, right? That she needs to know how dangerous it is, and that's what I think Alice wants. Be like, hey, listen, it's really bad, and not that you didn't know that because people are already dying, but whatever. So for that reason, I would. But in general, I don't think that kids need to know everything their parents did. I don't.
No?
It's kind of like at some point, it's too much information. Like, even Betty was like, I don't need to know about how you and my boyfriend's dad would get
We
it
get
on.
along. See, and that's
So-
the question. That's the question immediately that I want to know, and I would love to know you guys out there in the chat and also watching even after we're done. Go ahead and answer that question if you want to with us on Twitter at that hashtag show, and use the hashtag THS Riverdale. And just give us the answer.
symbol in there.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Right.
Somehow throw a V at the end. I don't know. That's a scary symbol. But go ahead and give us your answer there. Do you feel that it's important to be able to share everything at some point with your kids? And would you, in that case, share this information with your kid? I mean, it's just something that I would love to know what everyone else thinks about.
Right.
Because for myself, honestly,
You're
I
like,
would
no.
have to because I would have to for this situation because I don't want my kid to end up doing something stupid.
Exactly.
And, now my
This
kid's
is like a
coming home with-
cautionary tale.
blue lips and pretty much dying are now obsessed with the game. I don't want that. And then the whole thing about like making mistakes is better than faking perfections.
Right.
That's the whole thing, and that's something that we're stuck with right now, especially with social media. Everyone's trying to fake perfection instead of just being honest and making mistakes. So it can kill you. Whatever, It's just my opinion. Just my opinion.
It's a good opinion.
But do any of you have any other theories that
Other
maybe you want to
theories.
discuss?
Yeah, we got some other theories.
Definitely.
Well, anyone should choose.
I would like to say it's a quick one. I don't have a
Okay.
lot to back it. But if Alice is not telling the truth, if she's lying about it, I think that they all could have done it.
Yes, they all had.
Because obviously she's hiding something. Honestly, I don't think that this was such a big deal. Like they're meeting here and they're like, oh, we gotta hide this. I'm thinking like, you guys partied, had a good time, played D&D, and then someone died. Like, I don't feel like that's that big of a
Right.
deal. Like, it's not like they.
But
like,
if everyone knows enough
but
about
if
someone
they know
else,
who murdered it,
yeah.
if they know who did it, then I feel like
they're
that's a
covering it
bigger
up, yeah.
deal. So if she's lying, then I can go there.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
I would say Penelope because the Blossoms are messed up, and also she was the one that was like in charge of the game. So then suddenly it's like out of her control, and she's not doing it anymore. But the Blossoms are kind of crazy, so she could be doing it without even realizing that she's still doing it.
Oh, that.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Boy, all right. So Kelly,
Yeah.
talk to me about the Blossom incest. The whole situation here.
Interesting.
Blossom
Honestly,
incest.
I mean, because that's Blossest. I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's in this case, although first off, how amazing was it that we got
we
got
got
Jason
Jason
back
Jason
again.
as
his
his father, but also
kinda
as
sad, actually.
Cheryl. Like Cheryl's playing her mom,
Yes,
Jason's
it's just-
playing her
oh,
dad,
boy.
and they're together.
Yeah.
Like, Lord Jesus. Okay.
And then they had something in season 1 or something like that, right?
Yeah, it seemed
There was a
like
feeling.
it did.
There was a feeling.
Well, it felt almost like they allowed us to almost imply.
Think it?
But the thing is, there wasn't anything that really said, "Oh, they were."
Right.
But
It never
they just
really
allowed
went
us
there.
to jump to that conclusion,
Right.
which is fine because now that we see all of this, it's kind of like, yeah, possibly. Who knows?
Yeah, the family's pretty messed up, and it's.
My gosh.
I mean, technically she's not blood, but to adopt like a child into your family and then raise them to be like raise her as a sister to the boy, but then when they get older, like,
Yeah.
okay, well now you have to marry them.
This is your betrothed.
Like
Right.
you're bringing this person into your family.
Yeah. They literally gave her the Blossom name. They literally adopted her.
It's just
That's weird. That's
So-
some weird.
And one thing you asked while we were watching also, which is we know that she had the Blossom name from then. Did they actually get married?
Right. Right. Or did they just
had a kid.
cohabitate and have children? Like,
That's
we
it.
don't know.
Like, yeah.
Which, on the one hand, like, yeah, sure, you don't have to get married to have kids. But on the other hand, like, if you were adopted into the family and you share the last name,
Didn't she
Already?
wedding
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, she had a wedding ring
Yeah.
on, but did they actually go through a
like,
ceremony
and
and
she had
legally?
papers.
Did they literally have the
Yeah.
legal paperwork or everything?
Yeah.
We don't know. And that's a question that's like, we're just going to kind of leave that there. And it's like, oh man, they do this to us all the time. And it's good. I come back for it every week. I don't care.
Right.
Because I loved it. So, Tatiana.
Yes. Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Talk to
Daniel.
me about how much you loved all of these flashbacks, all of the, like, seeing everyone play their parents.
I
and
love.
everything
Okay, I
else.
love. Okay, it was so much fun. First off, like just like seeing Archie, seeing KJ Appa with that like 90s 90210 slick back hair, like the heart, like Luke Perry, the heartthrob of the 90s. That was perfect. And I really like. I especially thought it was interesting how Betty, Lily Reinhardt was dolled up to become Alice in the past,
boy.
whereas
Everyone
Madeline
else
and Camilla were like dressed down, kind of, which is kind of interesting to me. And then I guess even Josie is more glamorous than they had her mother be. So
Oh, yeah.
everyone else is like less glam, and then you've got Alice, right? Which is
man.
really just like at this point, it's kind of like. Yes, Betty in a way is the lead female of Riverdale, but like her mom is really the one that's like driving
kind of
engine.
looking like, is the actor,
Yeah.
is that actor that's playing the mother also an executive producer or something? 'Cause
They love her.
No matter what light she is in, Alice is always amazing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
what did you
that's
guys
it.
say when they threw Alice into the play?
Oh my God! Right? Yeah.
I want to know what you guys thought.
Like,
Dude, I'm still thinking, like, why?
this
Like,
woman has to be part of it
high
all.
school.
She is the center of attention. And you know what? Imagine Amit, like she commands that attention. Like she totally deserves it.
She does. That scene when she walked in wearing the dress and was like, I used to be part of the Serpents. And it was just like, yes, you were. Go for it, girl. Freedom. I don't know. I just I just felt like rebelling when I
Yeah.
saw it. So, I mean, I don't know. I love her so much. And I have not stopped loving her since that scene where she walked in and she was like, I don't care what you think. This is me. And I was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's right. You show them.
Yeah.
And it's just been that great sense.
Also, I'm pretty sure most high schools would have a dress code that would not allow.
Yeah, that
Would
would just
not
not be.
allow the
But
crop
Riverdale
top.
lets you
We
do
can't
what
even
you
show our
want to do.
shoulders.
No, exactly. So I'm looking at that like, what's going on?
Even when she
there?
was like, remember when she like going to her preppy outfit, she's still like showing her midriff.
showing
and,
her
like,
little
what is
midriff before the
happening?
belly bump, before
Yeah.
the baby bump, and I was like, wow.
Which-
oh, jeez.
Smart of her to get him right up there and be
Yeah.
like, all right, let's just
Yeah, 'cause
bone
I
down
mean-
on the first date so that I can
right?
pop out this
Exactly.
baby in 9
and then
months.
later when you find out and you know it's not yours, you don't want to look stupid.
Yeah.
So that's exactly why they ended up saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and send this child away, and that's what happened. Mm-hmm. We still don't know where the
then
real,
wouldn't she
actual, what's the name is.
Still have been in high school when she was getting pregnant? You think she just hid the pregnant, like wore baggier clothes?
Wore
or...
baggier clothes and
Yeah.
I
stuff
feel like
like
people
that.
would have known she was pregnant.
That's what I'm thinking, and why wasn't it a bigger deal where everyone else was like, honey, come here. Like, pull her to the side. We notice. You know,
Especially
like, because,
since
you know.
they've been like in the same school since what, kindergarten or whatever they
Yeah.
said.
And it's clearly a very small town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone
And
knows everyone's
And
business.
then Josie's mother knows, and so does Veronica's mom. Because they found out in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So they know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, they can help her hide it, but still, there's so many other people. There goes that dress.
There it
Oh my
is.
gosh.
That's
Dang.
what, and I just love it because of the pendant, the necklace thing.
The snake.
The
Yeah.
snake. It was like, dude, that is so
It was
great.
meant
And
to
she was
be.
like, yes, I am queen of the serpents. Like, that's literally what she was at that time. And then she gave it up ultimately in the end.
Now she looks
Wow.
so boho.
Yes,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, true. Now,
Living
were
a
there-
lie, as she
Were
said.
there any other insights that you guys had about the episode that's like, it's burning, I just gotta be able to talk about it? Anything else?
Not insights, but I loved a lot of the throwbacks.
I love the nods. I
Yeah.
have to agree with
Oh,
that.
okay.
They had
All right.
a lot of nods, and I appreciated all of them.
Every one of them was good. Well, there goes the ultimate nod.
Yeah.
Right
Michael
there.
C. Hall?
Yes.
No.
Michael C. Hall is what I called him. Okay.
Really?
Because,
He accidentally called him
it's-
Michael C. Hall.
I was running off at the mouth. I was like,
There was a
yes.
Hall in
I was
there,
like, there's a
three
Hall in there. I was
3
like,
days.
Michael C. Hall. And I was like, okay,
But yes,
we'll wait
Anthony
for that
Michael
one.
Hall
Exactly.
coming back to detention so he can die
man.
there.
Although I would not be mad if Michael C. Hall came on Riverdale.
Yeah, that's true.
No, that's why
I
I
don't
was...
see it happening, but I would
Whoa,
not be mad.
no, now
And
he's
wouldn't
dead.
it be nice too, like, he was a serial killer in Dexter, and then he could be a murder victim on Riverdale. Look at that.
Yes,
But
that
anyway.
wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad. He was also a dangerous man on that movie Game Night, but that's something else.
Yeah,
Yes.
I loved that. I was
Uh,
like, bring him back to Hollywood, please.
which makes
But-
game night, just like Riverdale currently
Oh
could
my
be
God, that's true.
a
Game Night.
warped version of game night.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, this was a horribly warped version of
Yeah.
Game Night. Oh man, I was just so enthralled by this episode. Everything about it was great, and I'm literally gonna have a rewatch after
Now-
because there's so much I want to cover.
Was it an exact word for word of Breakfast Club in the beginning, or no?
I don't think it
No,
was.
I don't think
Okay.
so.
I don't think it
Well, when
was. They
she's
just
like, oh,
gave
the
us the
nerd,
homage.
like the jock.
The jock.
Yeah.
and this
Oh
and
yeah.
that.
No. She. Yeah.
Obviously
They.
some
They.
things were
Yeah.
tweaked, but I
Like they were
feel
like the rebellious Catholic schoolgirl.
Schoolgirl?
Like,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I remember you're like, you have to tell us rebellious. We can watch it. You don't have to just tell us that.
Yeah.
My gosh, every time I see him shirtless, I think to myself, something needs to be done with me. And I'm just
Right? It's like you want to know
wow.
his secrets. Like,
Yeah,
what are your
I-
fitness
well,
secrets,
dude,
please?
He's just as
Well,
fit.
young youth.
Well, yeah, but he's just
No.
as fit.
Suicide?
He's just as
little
fit
more
as
than you.
any actor, any male actor in a Marvel film.
Yeah.
He's just as fit, except for Robert Downey Jr. He's just as fit as almost any male actor in a Marvel film. So they go through rigorous workouts.
Yeah.
They do.
And he's just like, this is me on my own.
I think it's that high metabolism helps a lot.
Well, yeah, and then also he's an Aussie, right?
He's an Aussie. Well, he's
right.
New Zealand. He's a Kiwi.
New Zealand. He's a Kiwi. Kiwi.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I have an idea that like Kiwis and Australians, like both of them are just like genetically better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had another question about Penelope. Okay, another reason that I thought maybe. Okay, so just the scene where she pairs up the like opposite couples, and I was like, why did she do that? And then Sierra says, "Did the Gargoyle King make you do it?" And I was like, that's like a joke, but it's also like a weird thing to say.
Oh.
Like,
Sierra did it. Sierra did it.
yeah,
Oh, you think Sierra did it?
Sierra, you're like, Sierra
Oh
did
my
it. Sierra is the
God.
Gargoyle King made her do it. But then also it's like yes, Sierra asking that is like suspicious, and then also just like she was like, oh, I wanted some chaos, but like what chaos is gonna happen? Like someone's gonna make out in a room and you weren't gonna know about it. That's
Right,
not chaos.
exactly.
So I'm like, did this?
Well, someone did make out in a room.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like that, but like what chaos?
Oh,
didn't do anything
okay,
for
I
her.
see.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Like unless she was like in there with her binoculars, like
They
watching.
didn't hate each other.
Right. So I mean, so it didn't really create
chaos
chaos.
happened,
Yeah,
yeah.
it didn't create chaos unless that somehow led to like your theory
The
that
death.
everyone has
there's
something to do with it. Like
Yeah,
those partnerships
Oh,
led
that
to
would be
something that we
interesting.
don't
I
know
know,
about.
man.
You
That's
know?
what I would wonder, but I don't know if that can actually be the case. It's just there's so much.
We need like 6 more episodes of these flashbacks.
6 more episodes of
So
these
we can,
flashbacks.
from
So we can
everyone's
actually get
perspective.
it.
From everyone's
So we
perspective.
can actually get it. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because I would love it to see if that can actually be the case. Like, I would love to see if that can actually be the case. Like, now, also, one thing that we love to do here on Ginger Dale
What
that
do we
we
love
just
to do?
started to do, well, we love to figure out who's tardy,
Yes,
who's absent,
and
who's
who's
truant.
truant.
Now, this is new, and I want to introduce you to it.
Oh, that's
so,
right.
the
Yes.
way it works...
We're at school.
Yes, exactly.
And attendance is mandatory.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay.
And yet, people just don't show up.
There are students. There are students or people on the cast who just maybe are late to the episode.
Take a sick day.
Yeah, take a sick day. You know, they're just absent. And then there's some that's just like, well, you've been gone for a while, so you're clearly truant. So that's what we actually choose to do on this episode. So on this episode, if we had to think about who exactly was tardy.
Yeah, who was tardy?
Would you think that, would it be okay if we said that possibly for coming in late or coming in tardy, look at all the fog, I like it, because that's why they were late. It was hard to get here. I would love to say, what's his name? Is it Jess? what's his name's father? The dude, like, we saw him for one moment with the super duper big yellow shades, and then later he's cosplaying. But, what's his name's father? Because we never see him on the show.
Well, there's Reggie's father. We barely saw. Yeah, Reggie's father. I don't even think do we even know Reggie's father's name?
No, I do not know Reggie's father's name. I know
Yeah.
that Reggie doesn't like his father.
Yeah.
And he always refers to his mother. He always, my mom's going to kill me. Oh, blah, blah, yada, yada. My mom didn't like this. Yeah. My mom says I have to come and apologize to you,
his father's
Archie.
a mysterious figure.
Yes, and then finally we see that, okay, his father grew up there.
Yeah.
And yet still never ever saw his father, but he showed up here for this episode.
Yeah.
So he gets to be tardy.
He's tardy.
He gets to be tardy.
You're saying
and
his father's tardy.
Yeah,
his father's tardy.
Father's tardy. Obviously, Reggie's basically absent. Was he even in that little thing at the end? I don't know.
No.
Yeah, most of the kids actually were tardy, right?
Most of the kids were tardy.
Unless
true.
you were Betty, you didn't show up.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Definitely. So Reggie's dad definitely tardy. Now, if we had to go for being absent, someone who just wasn't here for this episode, I got a good one. I just want to know if you guys are gonna. Moose.
Oh! Moose is truant at this point. Moose wasn't there last week.
That's
I don't
true.
know. I feel like Moose is truant.
Well, he may get both because he was absent for this episode completely.
Yeah.
His whole family lineage. Did they not come to Riverdale until after this happened?
Yeah, maybe they moved to Riverdale because they heard about all the murders and they're like, that's amazing.
That sounds like a place
here.
we need to vacate. Yeah, we need to go ahead and vacate here. But yeah, no Moose.
No Moose.
No Moose. So I don't know what's going on with his lineage and if they even happen to be in Riverdale until way later.
I also want to add to that Barbara's mom. I don't know her name.
Barbara. Oh, what's her name?
If Dilton's was in this episode.
Oh, yeah. Barb's mom. Yeah.
That's right.
Barb's. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is
her name again? I forgot the
I
girl's
just think,
name.
it's Barbara.
Yeah, because she's the Barbara
Okay,
character.
you're talking about Ethel.
There you go!
Yes. And thank you. Our
Okay.
producer has reminded us that, in fact, Tony Topaz was
She was at
absent.
the very,
geez.
she was at the very end. She was
She
sitting
was
at
sitting
that
at that table at the end playing
okay.
the game.
At that table
She
playing
was,
the show.
she was tardy, that's true.
She was tardy,
But
all
for
right.
the episode, she didn't do anything.
No, she
I
didn't do
still actually think that we could still count her as absent
Yeah.
because she didn't even have a word in the end of the episode. Like, she didn't get to say anything.
No.
She was just reaching around.
She was just there to collect a paycheck.
She was a non-SAG extra.
Exactly.
She was like, well, you guys have me. I'm supposed to be here for this long. I'm the episode, so it counts. So she shows up for that. But yeah, I guess the Native American family didn't actually deal with everyone else. Could that be why? Because it was her grandfather.
Oh, yeah.
I know he was part of their...
I guess she
that's
went to
how
the
they
other
could've
school,
started
right? She
segments.
went to the Southside school.
Oh, the Southside
Yeah.
school. So that's
So
why
we
you didn't
didn't
see
see
her at
it.
all.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes
That
sense.
doesn't
Although-
explain Barb's family.
Yeah.
It does not at all.
explain Barb's
Ethel's
family.
Fake Ethel.
Fake Ethel.
Fake Ethel.
That sounds so mean.
No, what it is, it's Barb coming back from the Upside Down and just
Yeah, she
popping
is.
up inside of the CW
Exactly.
universe.
I'm in this story now.
She's like, I'm still alive! And you're like, all right, let's go.
Justice for Barb.
That's why we've never seen her parents.
Riverdale is the Upside Down.
That's exactly it. So we've never seen her parents anyway, so that is true. But yeah, Barb, Ethel was absent.
Yes.
Ethel, I'm sorry, but you have to see the principal. You were absent. And last but not least, now we come to truancy. People that we haven't seen in a while. Now, we did mention Moose and how he wasn't there for last week, and he wasn't here for this week. So, Moose, you're truant. Immediately, we are going to contact your parents. You're truant. Who else happens to be truant? I'm trying to think who just was not here at all for the episode in any way. I mean, because
Hiram was there in spirit through his
He was in that room.
through his son father.
He was in that room
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, right. Through his
When
son
they all-
father.
When they all got together to be like, oh my goodness, he was in that
Oh,
room.
that's true.
Did they? No, that wasn't.
That was a
That was
previously
the last
as they
episode,
tricked you.
but,
They tricked
but
you.
still, he was pretty much
Yeah.
here because
Yeah,
you
okay.
know we saw him as a teen or a kid. Same thing for Hermione, so that's fine. But trying to figure out who was truant, it still sounds like Moose, and that's why Kevin's looking at him that way. Kevin's like,
and obviously
really,
Evernever is
I
just
don't-
nowhere to be found.
Evernever was nowhere to be
Still,
found.
I'm still like
you-
gonna freeze frame the backgrounds of these scenes to be like, where's a random janitor that's definitely Evernever?
Oh man, no,
Yes.
Evernever has to be around the same age as him. I think the parents.
Who was so when in the very end when we see Jughead, which also we need to talk about that.
Yes, we got that
okay,
at the
yes.
end.
When Jughead is playing the game, he's got two serpents next to him. I didn't recognize the guy sitting in the front. Do you remember that guy? Who's this guy? Right here.
Okay.
Well, there's Sweepy, or not Sweepy, or whatever his name is. I call him Clone. I call this one over here.
Yeah.
I call Clone.
Far right.
Yeah, far right. I call Clone Jughead.
Clone
He just looks
Jughead.
like Clone
Okay, he
Jughead,
does.
but
He does.
He's
Now,
been there
who was
before.
the guy
the
that
other dude
had
in the
to,
front.
completely
That
turn?
dude. He's currently dating, or was he trying to date? Someone.
Oh, is he the
recently.
one? No, that was Sweet Pea was trying to date Josie.
Yeah, Sweet Pea was trying to date
Josie.
Josie.
Yeah.
I don't know who this guy is.
I don't know who that guy is.
I
But
don't know
no,
who that
well,
is.
he's been here before. Ah, jeez, I just forgot his name.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
I know you guys are
he's
watching
definitely.
He's on my list.
Yeah,
He's on
right.
your
I
list?
don't know who he
He's probably
is.
not going to school.
No, he's yeah.
yeah.
He's a servant that barely shows up.
Ryan has made a good point
What,
that
which is?
Archie's mom is nowhere to be found. Did she just come
Well,
in
see,
later?
That's the thing. I think
Like-
maybe she might have moved in later.
Yeah.
And then met
Does
him,
anyone
blah,
do
blah,
that
blah.
though? That seems suspicious.
Oh,
I feel like
come on.
I feel like
She's
Riverdale.
not looking now.
Archie's mom is the Gargoyle King.
No,
Oh, you
God.
did it. You figured it out. That's what it
That
is.
would be the worst. Oh my
Did
god.
you start the riot?
Oh.
I thought Sweet. No.
Oh no! He didn't start
Okay,
the riot,
Tall Boy?
but,
Is it Tall Boy?
No, Tall Boy is.
Listen,
old,
I don't-
that- Oh, you think Tall Boy may be the
Yeah,
the Gargoyle
no, I was
King?
gonna say, is Tall Boy the one that started the riot? Not,
Well, no,
oh,
but
not,
actually, that's the dude that got stabbed that started the riot. I don't even remember. I think he was.
oh, the guy that Reggie tried to
Yeah,
shoot.
I think that's the dude that got stabbed.
Okay,
I think that's who it was. That one, that dude in the front, he's the guy that got stabbed.
Can't remember his name though.
And he's cool.
Well, he's fine now.
Okay.
He's stitched up and remember they were like, he's gonna make it. Oh, thank God, because we thought he all
Why
died.
did he get invited
What's
to
his
the
name?
game?
Sugar? Like
Because
I don't know why.
because he's a serpent and he's following.
I don't know about that.
And they're all. It's all.
Yeah, it's all
serpent's
serpents. It's
plan.
all
So
serpents.
I guess
Because
we'll-
because they're just following Jughead.
I
Right?
guess
Exactly.
we'll find out next episode. I'm sure they'll.
Yeah. So
Oh,
here's
yeah.
okay. So now this is the real question, right?
Yes.
Why is Jughead crazy now?
I have a theory.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a theory that the two chalices, one is poison,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the other is a drug, and it's brainwashing people.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever they say, like, drink and I forget that
whatever
saying,
they
but
say.
basically you will
Drink for
send,
your destiny or whatever,
Send
yeah.
into ascend into the
Yeah, it's the
I don't know.
ascension. It's the ascension.
Something I think that, and he specifically said that like I'm going to meet the
Yes,
gargoyle.
I get to
Yes.
meet the Gargoyle King.
So-
Which
I think he's
yeah,
brainwashed
because the game starts. The actual purpose of the game is to defeat the Gargoyle King.
he doesn't want to
But then somehow over the course of the game, students or the players start being like in love with the Gargoyle King and just like doing his bidding.
like
right?
like fake
So
info.
that's like you've lost the game,
Yeah.
but you're still playing. So it seems like Jughead has crossed over.
He's definitely crazy.
Yeah.
That's-
yeah.
no
From-
one can deny that.
My thing is,
yeah.
But so it has to be because of the drink, because
He
Jughead
didn't get
is
this way until after
Exactly.
he, played
He
that
was
game
very
with Ethel.
logical.
this
He
is
was very logical
this
before
is
that.
very anti-type of
Yeah.
what Jughead has already shown himself to be.
Sauce said that guy is
He's the guy
one
that
that
got
got
shot in the
riot.
last
Okay.
riot.
All
He
right.
is. I
guess
just don't know his
he's
name.
not
Yeah, I forgot his
suspicious.
name.
Never
He's
mind.
not suspicious. He got himself shot.
And
okay?
they're right. Brainwashing
Yeah.
would explain Ethel talking to the Gargoyle King in the hospital last episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
And it
because
could be,
we
and
were
of course,
asking
it
how to
could
get
be
there.
like it could be a magic spell. Even if it is a drug, it could be a potion. You know,
It could be a potion.
So that is still a way to connect it back to Sabrina.
I mean, it did, like, there is
Fangs,
a connection. I
thank
remember
you. His
seeing
name
the
is
post
Fangs.
about Ben showing
Yep,
up in Sabrina.
yep.
I saw that post, and I totally missed it.
Yeah, I'm an eagle eye. I want it all.
It was good, and he had the name tag Ben, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if that just means Sabrina's, like, a purgatory or something?
Well, people are saying that the Sabrina takes place 3 months before season 3. And I was like, where did everyone
Yeah,
get
how
that?
did
Because
that-
I didn't read that. But everyone, because I posted that in a few different groups, and everyone, so there were other groups that somebody would just show up out of nowhere and say, well, they said it takes 3 months. And I'm like, what? What interview was that? I
Yeah.
couldn't find that. And I tried to look it up, still couldn't find it.
It felt like Sabrina took place somewhere outside of time, but yes.
Right?
Yeah,
If-
they're like lost.
yeah.
Yeah, I would think Sabrina does
Lost
take some place kind of
time
outside
period.
of time.
Yeah.
Because
But
it's
if
like
we
the
see
whole
Ben
area.
there, and we're not assuming that Ben is like an immortal being or
No,
warlock,
yeah, exactly.
then we have to assume that
And
it does take place
we're
concurrently.
pretty sure he dies there, too.
Yeah.
because
Yeah, see, and that's weird because she did say,
She
yeah,
ate him.
she
She definitely
so I
ate him.
think she ate him.
I'm
But I'm
pretty
like,
sure
but
she
if
ate
she ate him, how would Ben later go ahead and jump
Yeah.
out of that window and blah, blah,
Can't
blah,
see his
blah.
name
No
tag,
sense.
but he does have a name tag that says Ben somewhere. I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
maybe
Yeah,
lower
but-
right or
But,
something.
Yeah.
but we did know
Yeah,
it
there
was.
we go.
Yeah,
Thanks.
there it goes.
Aw. Ben.
It's
So that's
him.
what I'm saying, and I'm wondering about like, okay, so with that being the case, is Ben dead? And did he die there, or did he die in Riverdale?
Yeah, that's kind of a
Which one?
weird crossover to give.
And why does he look younger and
Because they probably shot it that much earlier. That's it. I don't know. I still have that theory. I'm still trying to run with it and put it all together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure it all
that
out
was a good
with the
one.
whole Ben thing. See,
Good one.
You got it right here with us.
That.
You got it right here with us. No one else.
But do you guys think that this is magic? I don't.
I don't.
I don't.
I don't, and I want it to be, but I don't.
I don't think.
I really don't. I'm glad that they're choosing to go down this route because right now this season is great.
I don't think that the Gargoyle King and Gargoyles and whatever Sphinxes, I don't know, the other name, Dungeons and Dragons, I don't think
right.
that's magic. But
Right.
the whole seizures thing, that one's fishy.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
god.
a little bit magic.
Those seizures. Okay,
Friggin',
and
there
they
we
keep happening every time it's with Evernever's daughter.
Yeah.
Evernever's daughter, I'm telling you,
She
she is
might-
doing
Yeah,
it.
There's-
I mean,
she's
so
doing
do we
it.
still think there's a connection between those two things, or are those two separate things?
Well, I feel that there still should be some level of connection.
Yeah.
The seizures only happened when she was even remotely close to
Right.
the victim.
Right.
And then
To
that
the
whole
person
thing
who
with
found it.
Ethel, when
Yeah.
she's like about to say something and the girl's like
Yes,
staring
exactly.
at her
Yes.
background.
She's
like,
definitely
Yes.
connected to the
she's
seizures.
so
Yes. And then all of a
But
sudden,
is that because they're also the ones controlling the game? You know, like are they trying to
Evernever
keep the
controlling-
information, the flow of information about the game under their control,
under wraps as well?
or is that just two separate? Like one is sort of like Black Hood 2.0 with the game, and the other one is like magical, supernatural, cult, whatever.
If
you know?
Gryphons and Gargoyles is such a big deal to Evernever, why wasn't Betty's sister obsessed with it if she's obsessed with the farm?
the farm.
Right.
So that's why I'm having some hesitation.
See, but I don't know.
Exactly.
I think the thing is, maybe the Gryphons and Gargoyles could be a kind of tool they use to sometimes kind of. I don't know if I want to say thin the herd. I don't know if I want to say control the youth or something of that way. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we have the farm for the people that are usually older.
Right.
The people that are really going to be able
Like
to
you can funnel
get
people
to it
from the game to the farm.
from the game to the farm. And with
Oh,
that,
if
you're able
they're
to
worthy
control
and
Yeah.
worship
exactly.
the king.
Like the Ascension, right?
The
You
Ascension.
ascend into
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, think about it. You ascend and then ultimately get to
Yeah.
meet the Gargoyle King, who essentially happens to be Evernever.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing about it.
And then maybe you
So,
become like one of like the leaders of the cult rather than just
like a deacon or whatever,
Yeah.
blah, blah. So it could be, and it could be that Evernever is...
Why did she get
Oh
to be
my
princess?
god, what if Evernever is the dude that Sabrina's aunt is dating on Sabrina? Because you saw at the end how he had the eyes that flickered after he kissed her on the doorstep.
oh,
We're
Hilda's
giving
dude,
you
the
yes.
Wait,
The guy who's in charge of the shop
the
that
book
she
guy,
works at.
yeah.
The book
Oh,
guy. At the end,
Yeah.
when he said goodnight to her, I'm sorry, guys, we're going into Sabrina,
Yeah.
but it's
Spoilers.
connected. Spoilers.
But
Spoilers.
I don't
He kissed her, he
think-
turns around, and he has those eyes. What if that happens to be him later?
That would be
be
crazy.
amazing.
That'd be crazy.
that would be amazing, but I really don't think that
I'm hoping
Riverdale
big.
would rely that heavily
Right.
on
On
Sabrina,
Sabrina? Because
it's
the strength
Netflix
such a
of-
big,
That's
and
right.
such a big
That's right.
cross.
I feel
yeah.
like if it was like the Arrow and the Flash, where yes, they are
Yeah.
like really dependent
on
on each
the,
other,
and
then
in the
yeah,
same universe.
I would
yeah.
say go for it.
But it is a Warner Brothers production, and they do have a lot of money into it because Sakasa is throwing money into it like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's even been able to grab what's his name, Berlanti, as an also a co-executive producer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like their connection is great. It's just distribution didn't work out well for
Right.
CW, so they had to go to Netflix.
I just feel like we're only
they-
going to get nods.
We're only going to get nods.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with the nod.
The thing
I
is,
think
they
it's gonna
kind
be
of hinted
nods.
towards them doing something connected, and that's
love
why I
that
thought it
dress,
would be it.
Yeah.
So it would be a great connection, and I know I'm just kind of jumping and grabbing.
You want
at
it so
straws
bad,
because I
yeah.
do. I think that's the case. In reality, yeah, it's probably not going to happen, but it would have been fantastic.
Yeah. So, do we think that the Gargoyle King from the past is the same Gargoyle King as now? Or is there someone else taking up the mantle?
I think it's someone else taking up the
Yeah.
mantle, and I think it's
Because-
part of the Evernever kind of family.
Yeah,
thing.
because the level of the game has gone up so much. Like, as we pointed out, like, it was just kind of like everyone's chilling, having a good time, and then there was, like, one incident, and they allowed the game to be shut
And
down.
now it's been rewritten to that
Yeah.
if you play it, you have to play it.
Yeah, you
Gargoyle
play it
King's
that way. And when someone tried to shut it down, it was just a way to spread it even further.
Heck yeah.
So it's
I'm
like a
saying-
very different MO.
There's so many options,
Mm-hmm.
so many things that could be happening, and I don't know exactly which one to just run with and say, this is my theory,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it's going to work out great, because there's so many branches to it.
Yeah.
It's so many splinters. And with it, that's what I think I am loving about this season. That's what makes the season so great. Now,
because you don't know where it's gonna go.
Yes.
But so far, like, it feels like, at least I feel more sure that we're heading somewhere than the previous 2 seasons.
Oh,
I'm trying to remember. There was a moment in Sabrina where I think they actually mentioned Riverdale by name. Wasn't
They
there?
did.
Yes,
They
they
did.
did.
They've done it a few times, actually.
Because Riverdale's just across the...
Yeah. Because they mentioned when, what's her name, I forgot, met someone, she was like, oh, where do you go, Riverdale? He was like, no, I gotta, and they're like, oh, okay.
Oh, the head weird sister.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the head
and
weird
also
sister
Harvey
thing.
calls the, for the spoilers that I won't say, but he calls the Morgan Riverdale instead.
Riverdale, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Which
right.
I thought was going to be a crossover. I
That's
thought we were
right,
going to see that
that's-
creepy guy.
Yep.
I remember
But
when
then
he
he didn't show
mentions
up.
that,
Nope.
yeah.
Sad. Unfortunate. So with this episode, I think we've covered a lot. We've really broken down a few things. So I've got to ask, how many ginger snaps do you give this episode?
Ooh, I'm gonna. Out of how many?
Let's say we want to do 5.
5? Yeah, let's do
5 will be our thing. Out of 5.
5.
I'm
Out
gonna
of
give
5.
it 5.
Yeah.
Whoa!
5 ginger
I
snaps.
thought this
I'm
was
with
a
you.
great episode after the
Wow.
past few we've
Yeah.
had.
Oh yeah.
First of all, I love Dungeons and Dragons. I totally love how they did
yes.
this elaborate
Oh, man.
description
Cosplay
of the throwbacks. Like
Everything about this episode has been great. I agree.
Yeah.
You know what? It gets 5 ginger snaps from me.
5. Yes!
It gets
Yes.
5 ginger snaps from me.
yeah.
So,
Although I do have an issue with the fact that they're like, oh my goodness, like we got to destroy this game out of for like. Okay.
4.75 ginger snaps.
oh right.
Take it for them that ginger snap.
Yeah, right. So what about you, Tatiana? What do you
No,
think?
I mean, I loved it. I really had a lot of fun with the actors getting to play their younger selves, and it was just really fun to sort of try to pick up on the clues, like obviously every episode can't be like this because we have to move the plot forward a
yes,
little more,
of
but this
course.
is, I think, going to be a great cornerstone to go back to.
And that's the question I've got to ask as far as you guys. We've already given our answers as far as how many ginger snaps we're giving it. What about you guys in the chat? What
Ryan
are you
gave it
giving
6, and I want to know if that's out of 10 or out of 5, because...
Ooh,
Yeah,
Brian,
do you
Brian,
really
Brian
like it or
wants to
not
go.
really?
Brian wants to go above, and he really, really likes it. I hope. Is that the case, Ryan? Let us know if that's the case. If you really love it. And DDT is giving it 5 out of. Dude, these numbers are making. Oh God.
It was just
I'm burning up with
it
these
was a
numbers,
good
man.
episode.
I'm burning up with these numbers.
comments.
Yeah.
Dude. God, because I'm feeling it. I love this episode.
Yeah.
I really did.
Oh!
3 out of 5.
Now we've got some
Toku.
dissent in the ranks.
Wow.
Oh.
Toku's, this was
This was
an
average.
okay episode, but it wasn't the
Average.
best for me. I think they could have done more, and I don't feel that there was enough exposition.
If
concerning-
Jason and if Clifford and Penelope had kissed, that would have been 5, I think.
Oh
There you go.
boy,
Would have
I
put
think
it over the
Toku
top.
would have cried right there. It's like,
I do
it's
want to
weird.
know. I want to know from Toku Kid why a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, that's something I'm interested in
very
because
curious
it seems
to
like
know.
everyone else is across the board. 5.
Sauce God.
Ryan gave it a 6. I mean, and
Larry.
then here
Larry,
it comes.
yeah.
And Larry gives it a 5, and Toku was like, 3 out of 5.
Could have done better.
Like, it could have done better, but I also want to know why. If you could just give us that
could have
answer,
done better?
I would love to know.
Toku Kid's on their keyboard right now, like.
Yeah, right. He's like, give me a second.
5
He's just going
paragraph
crazy like that.
essay.
Oh my God. I would love it. Oh. Daniel got me spot on. See, I told he thinks that it needed more exposition. He wasn't really happy with everything that happened on the episode. But I think they gave enough. I really think they did. They went into so many stories. Wow.
Larry
Newbill
Newbill.
coming through with a super chat. Tough crowd, huh? Toku Kid. Tough crowd. Oh my God, you're making me sweat.
But does Larry Newbill say LOL, or does he actually laugh out loud? That's the question.
I think he probably laughed out loud.
You think he actually laughed?
I think he did.
All right.
Oh my God, I'm so hot, dude. This is killing me right now. I'm sorry. I don't know why.
You're so
getting
emotional
the
this
ratings, I was like,
episode.
everyone is agreeing with me. This
You
may
love-
have been
you just
the
love-
best episode so far.
Yeah, I mean, I it's just because it's like it was a really well done themed episode, thematic episode,
definitely,
you know?
definitely.
Nods. They
Like,
took
yeah.
care into throwing it back to the
Yeah.
80s/90s.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Speaking
it really
about-
felt like it was a different era. Like,
did.
Riverdale is already another show that kind of feels like it's timeless, like
boy.
it's out of time
It
in a way.
is. It
But this
is.
one really took us to a
Oh,
specific
man.
time.
And
So
I
it gave a
loved
very
it.
different feeling, even when everyone's all the same actors are
And
doing
I
the same
loved
thing.
it. And it was just like you said, so many nods.
Mm-hmm.
One nod that I think people didn't notice until Ryan said it right now, which was my shirt. Run, Barry, run. See, the great thing
An
about the
important
shirt is
run.
that you can actually get it on our website, actually,
TeePublic.
for TeePublic.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get the t-shirts there. They are having a sale right now at TeePublic, so you can actually get the shirts that cost about $25, sometimes even more. You're getting, I think they said 15% off.
Oh, nice.
So that covers your shipping, and you'll be able to get a cool shirt. If you want to, spend a little bit more. Get two. You're saving money anyway, because they're covering up on your shipping, and you'll be happy to wear a shirt, and you can be cool like me and get a Run Berry Run shirt. Or you can get one of our hashtag exclusives, like we have
One of
Elle's
these-
shirt, we have the Star Wars, and of course the Power Rangers shirts would happen to be big crowd favorites. Mashups are always good.
Mashups,
People love
yeah.
them. And apparently, from what I understand, it is illegal to go into most places shirtless. So get a shirt so you can be cool. And then also, besides that, you're wearing a shirt that people will say, "Oh man, that's cool. What is that?" Now you've got something to talk about.
Exactly.
And
Before
now
you
you're
were
starting
silent.
conversations. You see?
Starter.
Exactly. Hey,
break
shout
the
out to
ice.
Quest.
Yeah.
Shout out to Quest for Player 2, which actually does air here on that hashtag show. It's a great show. You guys should pay attention to it. So moving back into this, I think we've covered everything.
There's
We've got
nothing
our
else
ginger
fun to
snaps.
say.
We really did.
We know exactly what's happening with everyone.
We didn't acknowledge the It reference.
Yes, that's right. We have to acknowledge the It reference. It was
Guys,
even
yes.
shown in the photo,
It
but
was.
That's right.
on
So,
his cast.
That's
on,
right.
On FP's cast.
Yeah, we had to say FPs, not
Yeah,
Jugheads.
exactly.
It was FP's cast, and there happens to be something you'll notice right there on the cast. There happens to be a big red letter that's right on his cast. That
I
red
kind of
letter
wish that they
was cool.
drew the symbol.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was
yeah.
thinking he was trying to do, and I was hoping that was the
I wish-
case.
yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, that symbol is the symbol of the Gargoyle King. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's what he put on there, even though it's just a V.
Yeah.
That's what he tried or wanted to.
But maybe it would have outed him. Maybe
Maybe it mattered him.
So it was like,
Yeah.
I have to be kind of obscure with it, and here goes a little type of V, and that'll be it for it. But that was cool.
Yeah.
The It reference.
The It reference was cool.
Man, there was so much. Ah, it
And
would take-
Game Lad.
Yeah, it will take us so much time to go over and break down
Yeah.
every reference, every reference when
detail
it comes to
in
the
this
time.
Yeah, exactly. The detail was
Oh,
great.
God. The
They
music.
really committed. Yeah, the music. Oh, when they played "Everybody Wants to Rule the World." Yeah, I love that.
Man, and then giving the breakdown, telling us exactly what happened to everyone, and now it was
Yeah.
like that was so Breakfast Club, but it was also very much so Riverdale
But
because
why?
we knew that.
Why did that night make them all become their darker selves?
Right,
Because
yeah,
they feel
Because
that
she's
they
lying. Because she's lying.
Right. It's either because they all literally agreed to cover up for the person that they
Yeah.
know is responsible, or because they all individually
'Cause she's saying the
are
guilt.
afraid of the others, right?
The
They
guilt
all
is
think
why
that the others
they
are
like
responsible.
had to do this, and it's like guilt about what.
Guilt for not stopping, like
There it is, there it is,
Yeah.
with the V.
loser with a V.
Telling you guys, that's an It reference. You gotta watch it if you haven't.
It's so good.
But you think so? You think that ultimately because of this, that they were, well,
I think
you don't think they need to actually
I
be
want there to
guilty?
be a better reason to why they were like, oh, we have to hide this, we have to destroy this, we have to get rid of all the evidence, and it's like, okay, all right, calm down. You should have just
Yeah,
come forward, and then they could have like found the murderer.
Yeah, I
and-
feel like it's kind of the Archie situation from
Mm-hmm.
season 1, where he and Miss What's Her Face Grundy hid that they heard that gunshot or whatever because they didn't want to give away their romantic relationship.
But see, that's something
Um,
that makes sense because I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that makes sense as far as even later down the line because it would have gotten her arrested, et cetera, et cetera. For them, they held this secret. Even when they became adults, they were
Yeah.
like, "We gotta hold the secret." When you're adults, it's like, "Look,
I would be
we
like,
were
look,
dumb,
we-
stupid kids,
we
and
did
we had
drugs,
we
we
had
were
some
worried
troubles."
we were gonna
get in
You know?
trouble.
by the
for
time that they're
that.
adults, there's no reason to hide anything.
There's no reason
unless
for them to
they
have this
know.
meeting,
Yeah.
this consortium,
Yeah.
to go ahead and say, look, we all did drugs back then. Let's all admit that we did, but don't tell our kids. Now let's go back and do more. Like, was that the
He's still
case?
doing drugs.
Yeah,
I think was that the
that's
case
true.
or what?
There's still,
I don't.
yeah.
Don't
But
do
no,
drugs.
there definitely
Don't
is
do
another.
drugs.
You're right. There's
Don't do
got to be
drugs.
another layer of guilt
Bad.
because it's
Yes.
not just like.
There
Yeah.
has to be something going on, and that's where I want to know exactly what you guys.
So
think.
what do we think is going to happen
Exactly.
in the next episode? Anything from this episode going to carry forward, or because like you guys watched that promo,
I think
right?
Betty's gonna play the game. I think Betty's gonna
Yeah,
play the game.
I think Betty would play the game for Jughead, right? To be
Only reason she would play it is to watch and protect Jughead.
Exactly,
That's why
exactly.
she would think she's doing it, but she's gonna fall into
Yeah.
it. It's Betty. Come on. It's what she does.
Is Veronica going to have to pull them all out?
Yes, but she's gonna be busy because she's enjoying wearing wigs and visiting her boyfriend.
And then finding out that Joaquin is making moves on her boyfriend.
Most likely, and I think that
think-
clip was Joaquin did it. It was
I
like
think he
something to
did it
protect
because
him or something.
no, I think he did it because of the weird games they have in the prison.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's going to be some kind
Games
of.
are they having in the
How
prison, I
they
wonder.
have like because they're making them fight each other.
Yeah.
They might
But
be
can
making
I-
them do other
Yeah.
stuff.
Can I just
Oh,
file a
that's weird.
complaint right
Yes,
now?
it's true.
That
There's-
why am I seeing Joaquin kiss Archie before I see a Choni kiss this season? I disapprove of this. This is unacceptable.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's also kind of progressive because we're objectifying men instead of objectifying women. So I mean, that's not too
I guess-
bad of a
I guess
thing.
there's
All
that,
right?
yeah.
Hey, 2 cheers for women. That's what I say.
Feminism.
Whoa, feminism.
KJ Appa shirtless every episode.
Yes.
Hashtag
well,
feminism.
Well, that happens every. I know. That's so bad. Guys, don't take that message away. It's just a joke. It's definitely not. But yeah, but it is interesting though that that's happening, and
Yeah.
we're restricting Choni from actually happening, which is a thing.
Oh, is
So
that what you
it's-
guys call it, Choni?
Yeah, right.
Cheryl and Tony.
Cheryl, Tony,
Yeah.
Choni.
I
I'm
like
just kind of
Yes,
obsessed.
Sauce God. I feel like
Whoa.
if the parents
What
go
is
play
all-
the game to save their children.
Give it to us.
I
6
like
out
it.
of 5 for
Oh
that
my God! Yes.
6 out of 5.
Yes, Sauce
out of
God,
5
we
ginger
thank you.
snaps.
That was genius. My God. Well, guys, I think we've done everything we can. We've covered this episode. We want to make sure that we say thank you to everyone that did give us the super chats.
Yes.
We appreciate it. I wallow as that one.
say the name
I
again.
appreciate you. We appreciate you, I wallow. We also want to thank you, Larry and Toku Kid. We want to thank you guys for the super chats. We definitely appreciate them, and everyone else for joining us tonight because tonight was fun. Tonight was a good episode. We got
Yes,
pretty
thank
much.
you. Thank you for
having
coming,
me.
Kelly.
This is my
Exactly.
first time meeting Tatiana.
Yeah, I know. This is our
Yes. Yes, and I love the fact that you're here to just enjoy the show. You know what, Kelly? Would you do us a huge favor and come back again next week?
Yes.
Oh,
And would you do us a favor and come back
Forever.
every week? Like, could you join the Ginger Ale cast, please?
I guess for as long as the show's on.
Okay, guys, congratulations. You got to see the inaugural episode of what is now Gingerdale. There's 3 people here. Kelly is here. This is amazing. So,
Part of
thank
the
you
Gingerdale
guys.
family.
Yes, see?
Aw.
There you go. So this is what you will get here at that hashtag show.
now on.
And yes, exactly. So make sure to go ahead and follow, like, comment, and subscribe for this episode and every other future episode that we'll have. You can go to our website, thathashtagshow.com, to make sure to keep up to date with everything concerning Gingerdale. As we find out news, we'll share it with you, and you'll be able to get it there, and you'll be cool. You'll
Yeah.
be the person at the water cooler, like, hey guys, get to hear about Gingerdale, Riverdale, you know,
Oh.
whatever that is.
And
So-
happy early birthday, Ryan.
happy early
happy
birthday to
early
you,
birthday.
Ryan. Thank you. We do love you, man. It's great. And so with that, I want to say once again, like, comment, and subscribe so you can stay up to date with everything trending.
Where's the like? Likes.
In
I'm gonna
geek
guess likes
pop
over here.
culture.
Culture. Where's the like?
messed up.
I don't even know where it is. I have no idea. I have no idea.